I need the clock, David.
It's Pride Month. We're excited about this.
It is Pride Month. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening.
This is going to be so much
Yay!
Yeah.
You're surrounded by ladies.
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, there's a lot of
the
girls
first show
here.
of the Pride Month.
Yeah.
First show of season.
This is what equality looks like, guys.
Visibility.
Yeah.
That's right.
Diversity.
Diversity, equality.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Latinos, men, women, people of color.
Age.
Whoa.
Well, I'm following right behind you,
right.
so I'm not saying
Here we go.
anything for that one.
We're going to have fun. I'm getting ready to bitch slap Josie. All right. Good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television talk show. It's 9 p.m., Wednesday, June 2nd, and I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and we are so appreciative that last week, 50,000 of you watched our show in YouTube
Impressive.
alone. So let's get started by meeting tonight's host. First up, let's welcome anchor FayWHAT. She is a radio and television personality and has the popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Faye's Fur Family, and is the anchor of the travel news show Happening Out Travel. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and happy Pride Month, baby.
And you're the leadoff batter for the gigantic lesbian team tonight. All right, next up, let's welcome anchor John Buckley. He's a client advisor at Ramoa. He is vice president and program director of the nonprofit organization Unity Coalition, as well as the creator of the initiative Kioba, a free traveling social event that features inspiring speakers, topics, and safe spaces for all same-gender loving men of color. Plus, my favorite thing, he is known as Buck Lords from the famous House of Lords. Good evening, John.
Good evening, everybody. So happy to be here with you all.
Going to be fun with you too. Next, let's welcome Marti Kring. He is a lifelong community organizer and a human rights advocate. He currently serves as the field and community organizer for SAVE, Safeguarding American Values for Everyone, South Florida's longest serving LGBTQ rights advocacy organization. Welcome, Eddie.
Hey, Al. Hello, everyone. Feliz Pride.
Feliz Pride. Okay, got it.
English.
Now, in our cleanup batters for the lesbian team, let's welcome next Cindy Brown. She is an icon in the LGBTQ plus community. Her public service work began in 1992 when she helped organize the Miami AIDS Walk and the White Party for Care Resource. Her past work includes the United Foundation for AIDS, Miami Light Project, Miami Beach Botanical Garden Project. She served as the executive director of the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce Foundation and the LGBTQ Visitor Center. She is the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride. Come on, when is this ever going to end here? Currently, she is the senior program manager with Jewish Community Services Lambda Living Program for LGBTQ seniors. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you so much. And of course, I'm very excited that we're into Pride Month. So we're going to have a good time tonight.
And batting cleanup. Of course, you know this girl. Let's welcome longtime host, Chef Josie. She is a Bravo TV top chef and the master of one of my favorite places in South Florida, the popular champagne and oyster celebration restaurant Bubbles and Pearls, on the heart of the famous Wilton Drive. She is also known, in case you haven't heard, by her alter ego DJ Lady Snack Daddy performance, persona, performing Sundays and Monday nights and even more, I hear now, at Cubs and Hunters. Welcome, Chef Josie.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for having me. You know, it's always a pleasure to join the table. So
All
let's
right.
get it on.
Take that humble hat off right now. It's happening. All right. So good evening, South Florida and America. We are the first and most popular live LGBTQ talk show in the world. We have so much to talk about. Next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, you are watching a live and unedited LGBTQ talk show, so I assure you anything can happen, and you're probably going to see it because of it. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and click the bell for updates. On Facebook, we'll like and share this video. Let's begin. Let's get the show started with a unique meme of the week. It's called If Grindr Was a TV Show. I haven't seen this. Watch this. Row 1, slide JPG.
Huh. They'll have to do a little bit better with the advertising.
Oh, here we go.
I'm 21 and I'm an artistic, fun-loving gay man. I work as an instructional assistant for autistic kids, so compassion is very close to my heart. I love to sing and dance. It's so much fun.
I'm Alex, I'm 18, and this guy won't say next when he sees my package.
I'm Carlos, I'm 20, and beware boys, my ass is fabulous.
I'm Christopher, I'm 19, and I'm gonna win because I've got a like a giant sequoia. I'm Jeff, I'm 18, and this guy's gonna pick me because I'm as crazy as my hair is.
I'm Keith, I'm 20, and guys love me because I look corruptible. Hi, I'm Evan.
Alex.
You have a really weak handshake, so I have to say next.
You're really ugly, and it's your loss, bitch.
Whatever, you're the loser here.
Well, that is almost every Saturday night at South Beach with Eddie, Marti, Kring.
Next.
What do y'all think if Grindr was a TV show?
I just think that there's not a limit with you gay men.
Whoa,
why
whoa,
don't
whoa,
you have
whoa.
a Grind Her app or something?
Grind.
Oh, take a
Well,
note.
why don't you add that to the list
yeah,
of things
the
you
list.
I'm
accomplish?
tired to do that now, but come on.
All I know is I'd be watching and I'd be hosting parties and making great snacks for us to enjoy.
Great food.
Yeah,
Right?
while
Oh,
enjoying
I'd
it.
come to one of those parties. And John, are you in Grindr?
No,
No.
no.
You're saying that kind of very dismissively.
I was
I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Okay.
It's just not my cup of tea.
No dating apps at all?
No,
No scruff?
no,
No nothing?
nothing.
Basically saying he's so hot, he doesn't need it.
Oh, okay.
The baits just
All
come to him.
All right,
Baits
right.
come, yeah.
And Eddie, you have Grindr?
You know, I didn't for a while, and I recently did download it, and I use my profile for connecting with the community.
Sure. Connecting, get it?
You know what?
Connecting with the
I
community.
really do. I have a blanket call for more LGBTQ leadership. I'll show y'all afterwards, and I even have a plug in there that crystal meth is slaughtering our community.
Yeah.
Because it's something people don't
Eddie,
talk about.
I am sorry to break in. The executive producer at It's Happening Out is telling me that the marketing director of Grindr is on the phone, and he thanks you for making connection in Grindr, now the hot word that is appearing in Twitter. All right,
You're welcome.
well, let's move on. That's our meme of the week. It's Happening Out, of course, as you know, is part of the Happening Out television network, Hotspots Magazine, and We Meg Events. Have you heard of this historic merger? Hotspots is celebrating 35 years of the LGBTQ experience, and We Meg is bringing you Wilton Manor Stonewall Pride. Join me with Faye and Tony Lima as we are on the main stage to bring you the Stonewall Pride Parade and Street Festival on June 19th, completely live. Our three LGBTQ media brands now merged bring you the best of LGBTQ news, entertainment, and support for our LGBTQ plus community. Okay, we've got all of that out of the way. The Grindr stuff is done. Who needs a drink?
All you guys.
I'm picking
Always.
one up instantly. Let's play our
not?
yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. Now, I constantly get asked about this game. Wait, is this really hard stuff.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
It's
It's
really hard
really
stuff.
hard stuff. It's big, it's lighter
Is it
fluid.
budget cuts? What is
Yeah,
this?
it's
Oh,
right.
is this rubbing
No, that's
It's in a
alcohol?
bathtub
Fluid.
in the executive producer's house. Yeah.
Moon-
But it has,
Moonshine?
let's just say it
This
has
is
a handle.
the starter
Let's say it has a handle.
of all the sanitation liquid that
Yes,
we've been like.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Light on
Well,
fire.
we're going to invite you. We call this I'd Swallow That, and we invite you at home to play right along with us. I have to be careful on this because I have difficulty reading the teleprompter after playing.
It's a little
I'm
blurry.
going to ask our host 4 questions. If they agree with the question, they take the shot. If they disagree, well, it's going to be a long show for everybody. All right, everybody ready?
Ready.
Ready.
All right, then let's play I'd Swallow That. Okay, here we go. June Pride Month begins. Question 1, I'd swallow that. Nothing says June Pride Month like Calvin Klein jockstraps.
Well, definitely swallow that.
Swallow that.
I'll swallow that up, big
That's what Eddie was
boy.
thinking. He's like, I'd swallow the jock strap. That's what I would do.
Are they edible too?
Hey.
That's a whole thing. Wow.
Yeah, I told you, there's
Little
Cindy,
jockstrap
you okay?
never hurt
Wow.
nobody.
All right.
no,
You're
I'm
back.
fine.
You're
I'm
back.
fine. That's a strong one tonight.
So
Yeah,
jock
yeah.
straps. I mean, we do shirts, we do caps, we do pins and stuff like that, but jock straps also.
I read an
course.
article
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
that approximately 60, they're being called Pride collections, 60 national corporate brands have introduced Pride collections where you can go of products that they produce and they make, etc., special for this Pride.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, they had to like smarten up and know that we collect things, that we appreciate our history.
And
Are they going
Most
to
of
make
us
a
don't-
Prime
They had to
theme song?
tap into
Yeah.
the items that we actually use, so of course it makes sense. Jock straps, you know?
Okay, but let's talk about the Pride slide. Have you seen it? The Pride slide sandal
Oh.
goes right in. Every lesbian I know will be buying
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah,
Pride
yeah.
slide, and some of the boys, and some older guys wearing them with socks.
Yeah,
That's
it's
gonna
funny.
happen.
I'm sitting next to Faye, and it's like she's speaking Russian. I have no idea.
So you walk into Target.
Do we need to separate you two?
Yes.
You might have to.
Usually.
You walk into Target, and now they have an entire Pride section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that great, though?
love
I mean, imagine even, I continue to say this. There's a lot of people critical about the commercialization going on, but I constantly, when my friends, they do catty, shady comments, gay LGBT kind of
Really?
comments, whatever.
Right.
And I constantly say, imagine 10 years ago,
Yeah.
we didn't get this kind of exposure. So representation matters.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a positive and fun thing. And Eddie is going to, at the end of the show, show you the new Pride jockstrap from Calvin Klein.
He's
gonna
wearing
go-
two of them.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
Just for double support.
Really? Oh, really? I'm not going to let that
Got a little
pass.
hot in here.
Yeah, got a little hot
I
in
think
here.
you put it on wrong.
Hey,
Right.
it's better than- you usually put it on my head,
Exactly.
but this is the step up.
Wait, can we make an agreement right now?
Next.
This is our launch of
Next.
Pride. We are going to make fun of Eddie all long about
'Cause it's
double.
Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
You know
let's
what?
move on. We'll let him off the hook for a moment.
Thanks.
The radical right is hunting LGBTQ for Pride Month in the strangest of closets.
Oh, boy.
Question number 2. I'd swallow that. Newsmax host Grant Stinchfield is the dumbest guy in America. Why? Because he outed the Lucky Charms leprechaun. Anybody
Cheers to
agree
you,
with that?
idiot, okay?
Yeah.
Cheers, idiot, right?
Right.
First of all, everybody knows that Lucky Charms guy is gay.
Well, it's the House of Keebler, for goodness sake.
House of Keebler.
Keebler.
House of
Oh,
Keebler.
those marshmallows,
The House
and
of
they
Keebler,
even
yeah.
had a little marshmallow rainbow. It's like
Yeah.
gay.
Oh, I thought it was Tony the Tiger. I thought he was a full-fledged bear. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. No.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Give you that
one
It gives me Muscle Queen.
that can also
Right.
be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Is it because he hangs out with unicorns? What is it? I want to know.
Well, it's magically delicious.
Oh, yeah. That's,
You know, this would
anything
explain a lot
magical.
about why I turned out gay then, because I was eating Lucky Charms like a pig when I was
Of
a kid.
course you were. Was this book?
They're gonna use this soundbite in their TV show.
Yeah.
See,
Just pick
we-
out the
true.
marshmallows.
Yeah.
They were
Lucky
crunchy.
Charms makes you gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were crunchy and dry. They were kind of weird, like sometimes.
You know, Grant Stinchfield was on the live show, and he just went off the rails. And I'm sure an executive producer was screaming, shut up, shut up, shut up, because he was basically making the point that June Pride celebration was just over the top, and we were influencing all America, and, you know, we are subverting all of our America's
so
children.
powerful.
Yeah, we're so powerful. And he makes the logical leap of the politics of LGBT in America and Republicans in America to the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. That's a natural connection, isn't it? It's
Ridiculous.
It falls right into.
Listen, they're really fishing for material right now.
Well,
and they just need to turn everything gay. I mean, we don't need any
If
help
you
doing it
remember the
ourselves.
90s, they made the purple Teletubby gay because it was holding a purse.
And the Power Ranger too.
By the way,
Yeah.
Well, I
by the
think the
way,
Red Ranger was
he
gay.
was gay, and I loved him. All right, let's move on. What gay man didn't love Marvel's villain Thanos? Here's why.
Goodness.
He's big. He crushed the Hulk. He's stronger than all of the other Avengers together, and we loved his bad boy attitude. Oh, my goodness, I did. Question number 3. I'd swallow that. I loved how Josh Brolin rolled with the punches with all of the thirsty memes from our community about gay Thanos.
Goodness.
Okay.
Those memes were everything, and he was just laughing them up and loving every single one of them. Look at that one. Look at the one that's on the screen right now.
A lot
Like,
of
hey, look at
assets.
this! Look at his butt. Look at me. Look at.
A lot of assets.
God, what's the rating on that film?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to get a better rating now,
Yeah.
or a
course.
more
Goodness.
restricted.
Listen, but that also shows like that's testament to who he is as a person, a human being.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
for him to be able to laugh it off, I mean, you have to have thick skin in this industry anyways, but this is just to show you he has a sense of humor as well, and that he's an ally. So thank you, man.
You know, he played the cyborg character in the Marvel universe, and he was really sexy in it. He was the target of lots of gay men's jokes from that, and I completely agree with you. It says a testament to him of going, wait, I'm going to take the bait, but I'm going to take the bait in a great way of support for gay men and the community, and what he did in terms of what he did for Thanos. It was wonderful. All right, let's move on. The Radical Republicans. Have y'all heard of them?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Who are the non-red?
I wish they would just disappear.
Eddie at Save, I'm sure you've heard of Radical Republicans. Well, the Radical Republicans tried to sell us that Trump was the most supportive LGBTQ president in history. Did you hear?
Where's my drink again?
It makes me wonder, were we also being sold Trump steaks and Trump U and Trump water? Well, were we just being sold Trump? Did we buy it? Well,
Not me.
our log cabin Republican friends drank the Kool-Aid. Question number 4. I'd swallow that. I believe Michael Cohen when he said this week Donald Trump was really repulsed by LGBTQ plus people.
Goodness.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I'm really repulsed by him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to drink because of Donald Trump's face. Makes me want to drink.
Makes me.
All right, Michael, you know, it's sad. First off, can I just get this off the table? That we dislike Donald Trump so much that we would toast Michael Cohen.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Right?
Well, you know, relatives.
What?
Right.
So he came out and said it was all a big rouge. What do y'all think?
Are you surprised? I see that. I can totally see him going, ugh, like, come on, think about it. Pride Month, Biden put out a whole manifesto. Trump did nothing of the sort for all those years.
He
that
erased
been on-
us from the White House website. Like
Exactly.
he created and advocated and signed bills, like basically ripping apart and tearing all of our progress apart.
He didn't let embassies fly our flag.
Yeah, like we could go on and on. There is no surprise to me that what Michael Cohen is saying is true. What surprises me is that actually the log cabin Republicans believe that that he supported us.
And Brandon Strzok and
look,
Richard Grinnell.
Guys,
ridiculous.
you know, I love you, but you know,
People have their heads in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald
no,
Trump
that's
was
not
for
where
Donald
their heads
Trump.
are.
Right.
Cindy, let me
Okay.
tell you where their head really is.
Understand.
You know, Donald Trump showed us who he was.
That's right.
You know,
And I don't know why people don't believe him.
well, you know, that's a really good point. Rachel Maddow has made that exact
Yeah,
point
people
repeatedly.
show you who they are.
Why
I
aren't
think,
you listening to
Maya
what people
Maya
are
Angelou
saying?
said that.
Believe them the first time.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I read an article in New Yorker just this week, and it was really interesting because the article said it theorized what was going to happen in 2071 when in 2071 they go back and talk about 2015 to 2021 through the January 6th riot, and what it's going to say about us and how embarrassed we should be that we are going to be forever tagged to this time period.
Right, and especially how, you know, the Republicans in Congress are behaving.
Yeah.
You know, like it never really happened, and it was just some people touring, Congress. They were on a tour. I mean, it's like
I know.
ridiculous, and the
It's
entire
unbelievable.
world is watching.
That's right.
Nobody being held accountable.
That's right.
And it's
Well, and by the
disgusting.
way, I'm thrilled because I have a little more vodka that I'm going to get to drink through this show tonight. All right, let's move out of I'd Swallow That. Next up, let's consider the best thing of the week. History was made in television this week when Germany's version of Next Top Model crowned their new winner. So, best thing of the week is called Move Over, Tyra Banks. Transgender person wins Germany's Next Top Model.
That's awesome.
It's moderated by Tony Lima from Ariana Center. You must tune in. It is really, really incredible. And so I do a plug for translation Monday nights at 8 o'clock. That's our best thing of the week, and we congratulate her and the progress it represents.
Absolutely.
Now, let's move on to our segment called What's on Your Mind. And I really like this segment a lot because we are going to ask each of these hosts to tell us in just 30 seconds what is important to them this week, and their different perspectives surprise you in terms of what they see as important. But remember, in just 30 seconds, or you're going to hear that.
God, I
bell.
hate that bell. Did they make it louder since last week?
Yes, they did. Well, we had to tune it up a little higher to overcome your voice.
Oh, that's what it is.
Right.
Let's just say that I threw this bell across the room in one segment, and it still survived.
And it survived. Yeah, I got a phone call in that show that y'all were doing when you threw the bell. All right, well, what's on your mind? And let's start with FayWHAT?
Hey, what? So it's Pride Month! Oh my God, and I'm so excited. Last year we weren't able to celebrate, but this year we're doing it big. And you know what I'm thinking about this week is our allies, okay? Josie touched on it before a little bit. Yesterday was June 1st. It was the first day of Pride Month. I was so happy seeing all the memes, seeing all the posts. But what really touched me were allies that sent me texts and messages just saying, hey, happy Pride, Faye. I stand with you. Without you allies, none of the stuff that we have accomplished would ever be possible. So I say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bullseye. We're 7% of the population. If we're going to get the political stance we need lots and lots of allies. Great point. What's on your mind, John Buckley?
I'm excited that the world is reopening and we're getting back into arts. This week, I unveiled for Randolph Ward, he has a production that's coming up in July called Boys Cry 2, and it deals with toxic masculinity.
Excellent.
So I'm super excited to see that show and have that point of conversation come about through the art.
Sounds
Awesome.
wonderful. That does. That sounds awesome. And Eddie, Marti, Kring, what's on your mind this week?
All right, so I have a couple of things on my mind. One is that on Monday, I started a 14-month accelerated master's program at Georgetown University, so super stoked.
Georgetown,
Master's in
yeah.
policy management, thank you.
Wow.
And the other thing is that I'll also be working this whole time, and we need you all. As you're celebrating Pride, as you look at the year ahead, think that the 2022 midterm elections are right around the corner, and we have no time to waste. We need every single one of you listening to plug in save.lgbt/volunteer. We need you door knocking. We need you phone banking to help pass the Equality Act, but we need you to act.
Absolutely. And remember, and Eddie would say this, 2022, it's Marco Rubio versus vote for whoever, fill in the blank. Now, what's on your mind, Cindy Brown?
Well, I am so happy that we're starting to get back out into the world and seeing our friends. And, you know, there have been a couple of great, fantastic events where I saw some of my favorite people. And, you know, I've seen Eddie a couple of times. And it's just so great to see people and hug them and that you haven't seen and hugged. And with Pride Month, you know, upon us, there's going to be a lot more opportunities. So I say, you know, hug everyone.
Hug is what's on your mind this week.
Absolutely.
Cindy is hugging
lovely.
everybody.
Yeah.
And what's on your mind, Chef Josie?
So this weekend on Sunday, I am spinning, my alter ego is spinning, Lady Snack Daddy at the Eagle here in Wilton Manors on the Drive.
Now, for people who don't know, giving you a few extra seconds.
Yeah.
The Eagle is the principal hard leather bar here in South Florida. It's fantastic.
That is so cool.
And they have been so generous to create a partnership with the lesbian community and turning one part of it into a lesbian tea dance party. But of course, this shout out is to all my boys. All you guys, you come out, you support. I'm going to throw it down for us and we're going to get sweaty and we're going to pump it hard for Pride. Let's set it off this week.
And by the way, okay, and I love that. And to the bar, absolutely fantastic. One more time, the bar's name, plug it in one more time.
Eagle.
The Eagle.
The
Wilton Manors
Eagle
Drive.
here, Wilton Manors.
We really, really love that. And by the way, if you were listening carefully, Josie is providing secret words like pump it. And
Sweaty.
there were many words in there that you should be realizing. She's talking to a secret audience. All right, that's what our hosts have on their mind this week. Next up, let's catch up with the news from the world of entertainment. Some history was made this week. This is a strange story. History was made this week when a French rugby team announced a new sponsorship. But what was newsworthy was it is a sports team famous for hot, sweaty, masculine men playing in scrums. Look it up. Highly physical sporting game. But the sponsor was not a vodka brand or Coca-Cola or anything like that. In entertainment, hot topic of the week, we ask, can you host? Gay dating app Grindr announces the sponsorship of the French rugby team.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And I love the fact that they have Grindr right on their butts. That's exactly where they
And
put
these are
it.
generally straight macho guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, and these guys that are in this picture are some of the players because they all seem to have their teeth. That's not usually a thing.
Well, they
with rugby
probably
players,
have, you
right?
know, they put them in.
No, but they also look like they could hang out at the Eagle this
Yes.
weekend
Well,
because
we are talking
they're like
about
kind of bear
France.
daddies,
You know, I think in French, you know, c'est la vie. anything
Yeah.
goes.
Love is
love
love.
Yeah.
Very plus, money talks. So.
Well, yeah, that
But
too.
think about the history of this,
Oh, yeah.
because rugby is a uber, and you were talking
Macho.
about the toxic
Masculinity.
arts event that you're getting ready to participate in. Rugby and sports in general. Eddie, sports means football, baseball. We'll get together after the show. I don't have enough
I was
time.
thinking Roman Greco wrestling, men's gymnastics.
Right. Let's return back to the
Swimming.
double,
Double jockstrap?
Yeah, the double.
Always going to come back
boy.
to that.
We're going to come back to that frequently, but this is a situation where it can be a toxic, very masculine sport that I just can't imagine players that are willing to be associated with the Grindr branding of going, what's the big deal? And it's Grindr, and they're willing to do that.
Americans are prudes.
Yeah.
America is like, there's no problem with massive gun violence, but don't you talk about sex or show a little extra cleavage. You know, it's absurd that guns are celebrated and our bodies are to be hidden. It's crazy.
I'm curious, do you think we'll get to the point where, when we talk about Grindr, I asked John was very clear in the shade that he read all over the table, excuse me, no. And Eddie was no, but I kind of came back to it. But I do it for political.
That's why the rugby team for network.
Yeah.
And they won't give me back my account, which I don't understand why, Grindr. I mean, hello.
Banned.
Why? I mean,
We should team up.
Yeah, well, Josie is the queen of Grindr.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, do you think it's we'll get to the point where dating apps, whether they're straight or gay, everybody will just go, who cares? It doesn't make any difference. It's fine that you do that. Because when we make the joke about Grindr as the dating app, we're really throwing some shade of what we think about the people that participate in it. And then we become hypocritical because we're participating in it.
Well, and let's give Grindr more purpose. Think about it. They could be the next Amazon. They're coming out with TV shows now, and now they're doing this. Think about it. Grindr will be like the next RuPaul. They'll be everywhere.
And when you're making
just announced them as a great networking.
Right. And when you're making those business decisions, you know, we've even spoken about it for Bubbles and Pearls as putting an ad on Grindr because of their demographic. Let's be real. They are putting up numbers that most people cannot even compete with. They don't come close.
Are they still owned by a Chinese company? Because they were owned by the Chinese for a while, and that's a little scary. I mean, you know, whatever you're putting out there, that data is captured.
TikTok, right?
They are owned by a Chinese company.
Still, so that's odd, I think. And then let's just talk about toxic masculinity and Grindr, because all too often in there you see people talking about no femmes and like mask only. There's a lot to unpack as it relates to the trauma and
you know a lot about Grindr for not having Grindr.
No, I haven't.
And he's come back for political things.
And community connection.
I gotta go find my people where they are. I meet them where they are.
Yeah,
My executive producer again is saying the vice president of marketing at Grindr is on the phone again. Thank you. He says thank you.
You're like, we need a big donor at Save, so let's get him on the line.
How about a sponsorship of the program?
We need a discount on those ads. Those ads are expensive.
It's funny. Well, it's really historic. And we also reported in a kind of similar vein, not the same as a rugby team, but the San Francisco Giants on Saturday are going to incorporate LGBTQ rainbow colors in their hats and in their jerseys in the game.
Yeah.
First time a sports team in America has ever done that in recognition for Pride Month.
I love that. And if you need somebody to go out onto the field to interview all of these rugby players, whether it's in France or somewhere around the world, you let me know and I'll do that.
I'll be his cohort.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
You know, it'll be
You both are so cute to think that you would get that gig assignment before.
Wow.
Very funny. All right, let's move out of entertainment. That's our discussion on entertainment tonight. Next, we report that Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world. And we do it for Sunshine Cathedral, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We're very proud of it. And it is totally live. We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
This is Orlando Gonzalez. I'm the Executive Director of Safeguarding American Values for Everyone, also known as SAVE, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
I can't help but wonder, does Orlando know about Eddie's 2 double jocks?
Whoa.
Oh, wait.
My mom could be watching this show.
Well, watching the show, there's a lot of other things.
Please.
He knows what size you need.
Oh my God. How do we, where's the stuff?
Please, God, I hope Mrs. Kring is watching.
We need more of
the show
this.
right now.
More of these.
Exactly.
Stocking stuffer.
All right. Exactly. Oh, don't even get me started. I'm going to run wild. All right. Finally, we thank It's Happening Out's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 here in Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our host and guests stay here at this LGBTQ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when visiting South Florida. Next week, when you come down for Stonewall Pride, this is the place to stay. Right. All right, well, up next, if we were standing around the proverbial LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we think we would all be talking about. We refer to it as the hot topic of the week. This week, interesting conversation took place as Dr. Anthony Fauci discussed the 40th anniversary milestone that will occur this week in just days on January 5th, 1981. Fauci was sitting at his desk at the National Institute of Health. He received a weekly briefing report of an unusual event that was occurring in Los Angeles, where 5 men had contracted a strange infectious disease, or in a strange infection that was previously only seen in extreme cases of chemotherapy cancer patients. Fauci also thought it was strange because all 5 of the men were gay. He surmised at that moment on that report that there was a new infectious disease that was transmitted by sex. In reading the report, he got scared. It was the first moments from the most important name in the 4-decade-long fight against AIDS. It was born at that moment. In the next 2 years, thousands of gay men would begin to die of AIDS. So we mark our journey in the hot topic of the week. June 5, 1981, Dr. Fauci learns of HIV and AIDS. Our 40 years are now remembered.
Wow, incredible. I think was it called gay cancer or something like that back then before they actually...
They called it GRID. And it was really horrifying. I mean, I was in college then, and at University of Miami, and it very pervasive, and yeah.
And Fauci was so young. You saw those pictures. He was so young, and I have to say that probably helped him to prepare to deal with the pandemic that he helped us all through, and the ignorance of Trump.
Interesting, isn't it, that in the 40-year span, I mean, just to that point, we should talk about the other broader issues about AIDS, but to that point, the President of the United States is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan does not mention AIDS for the next 8 years. He does not say the word AIDS.
Unreal.
And it's being led by Dr. Anthony Fauci at NIH. And 40 years later, we're hit with the greatest pandemic in history. We reported tonight 41,000 LGBT Americans have died in the last year. Actually higher than AIDS, not in total, but in its time period, in the short time period that it's happened. And he, Dr. Anthony Fauci, again becomes the leading voice under Donald Trump. 40-year bookends.
He's
made a patient.
You know, brilliant. And you know, if I got some rare disease, he would be the one I would want working on it. You know,
well, you know what's amazing about what that, you know, that factual part of our history illuminates is the fact that in that moment there were 5 cases. 5.
5.
Okay, and that as this young, you know, physician and what his specialty
30 at National Institute of Health,
and him having that on his desk and seeing that, you know, that's that's an example of what science looks like, right?
Yeah.
And why it's so important for us to add preventative care to our health care, you know, in our services that every American should have access to, right? You know, being able to find these ailments, these diseases, these viruses, you know, everything before they turn into something that is out of control. You know, we always are discussing whether or not those lives could have been saved, right? And we now know that if we would have just had people in leadership where you're at, you know, on a legislative level, who actually cared about our community in that moment and believed the science, that they would have put money behind the research and development of a cure. And I know that we have a lot of people in our community who are angry because of that, you know, 30, 40 years later.
And if you think about what was happening at the time, you know, being out was not cool.
No.
You know, and all of these men were getting sick and dying, and, you know, for the most part, people knew why they were dying. And it really forced America to recognize that LGBT people exist, because they were watching their friends and loved ones die, so they had to come to grips with that. And, you know, thank goddess that there are, you know, treatments now and cocktails and PrEP that
it's a whole different world.
It's a very different
And just
world.
like the pandemic, you saw the best in people and you saw the worst in people during the AIDS epidemic time, you know, because there are stories of nurses that just refused to handle anybody that was going in there with HIV at the time. And that happened again during COVID, you know.
And it was the lesbians that came out in droves to help take care of these men.
Yeah, you know, I was at the University of Central Florida, and my best friend, a girl, was president of the student union at the University of Central Florida, and she knew I was gay. And I remember in like 1984 or so, her comical greeting across the student union would be, "Hello, AIDS breath."
Oh my God.
And it was a joke.
Oh my God.
It was a joke, and she made the joke, and it never. It wasn't until years later that I thought about it, of going, oh my gosh, it was well, and it was ignorance can be ignorance, and forgiven instantaneously. I also, and I've rarely told this story, AIDS was catastrophic in the 80s, and I watched it. I went to so many funerals, I can't even tell you. And even today, when I read about and watched Fauci's comments, the survivor's guilt of going, how did I not contract AIDS? How am I still here? How is that possible? And Al and Chuck, I mean, come on, it's in the LGBTQ community. In 1986 or 1987, Chuck and I went to finally get an AIDS test. And we went together, and at the time, this will sound so ridiculous to you, but the wait period was 10 to 14 days, I believe, to get results of your AIDS test. And we went back to do it, and we went to this clinic that had done it, and Chuck wouldn't let me go in, and wouldn't go in with me. He wanted us to go separately. I went in first and went in, and they told me that I was negative. And it was a relief, but it wasn't overwhelming to me. There was tremendous anxiety. I went out, I got back in the car, I told Chuck I was negative, and that very much meant he was likely negative too. But he did not believe that from the standpoint of the survivor's guilt. So many people, our sexual activity, it was Russian roulette. That's what it was in the 80s. He went in, and they told him he was negative. And he came out, and I will never forget, my goodness, even at this second, him walking out of the building and seeing me through the windshield, and in seeing me, busted out crying instantaneously. And I have thought about that moment 1,000 times, because we do not realize or we did not realize what AIDS did to our community, and the stress and the pain and the hurt, etc. And I tell that story from the standpoint of we're sitting here in June of 2021, and we don't know what COVID-19 has done to us yet. We haven't suffered what is still to come. The mental health issues, the political issues, there's so many things. And I tell that story from 1986 or 87 to remind myself and to remind everybody. AIDS had a dramatic effect on every LGBTQ life in America.
So folks, get tested.
Right. And
Get tested.
get PrEP.
Get PrEP. Miami-Dade has.
There's no reason to seroconvert in this day and age. We know so much about how to prevent it.
There's plenty of places you can go to get access completely free.
There's no stigma today.
Nothing.
There's nothing. It's a medical condition that can be managed and will soon be cured.
It's not a death sentence anymore.
Period.
Look, Billy Porter just came out after 17
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
saying that. I mean,
Have
like,
you-
wow,
have you
working on a
watched-
show like Pose.
Have you watched him on Pose though?
Yeah.
Of course.
God.
This season?
Yes, of course. Don't get me
Man.
started.
Every episode makes me bawl.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, Miami-Dade County has amongst the highest rates of HIV, of new HIV/AIDS transmissions in the country. And so for those of you that are listening, if you're in South Florida, please get tested, know your status, get on PrEP. Let's knock this out the best way. We have all the tools. I know many people my age don't really know folks that have passed away from AIDS.
Right.
And so, you know, we do have a lot of privilege today, but we have the tools available, so go out, get tested, and let's do what we can as a community.
And I think it's really important to mention also that it doesn't only affect our community, our LGBT.
No.
Right,
No.
right.
So that is a invitation to everyone who
Everyone,
is
right.
sexually
Exactly.
active.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely. Well, that is our hot topic of the week. We close it by saying the whole world loves Dr. Anthony Fauci.
And he was really cute.
He stood up against Donald Trump. We love you if for no other reason
Yeah.
but standing up to Donald Trump. And oh, by the way, Ronald Reagan, 40 years ago.
Right, exactly.
But you've done our community, our LGBTQ community, so proud. You are the ultimate embracement of what an ally to our community is. And it was just science. That's all you were doing, which is what makes your story so lovely. And we wanted to take a moment to salute you for that.
Thank you.
40 years, June 5th.
Thank you, Dr.
1981. All right, well, next, let's explore the LGBTQ plus world this week with some silly or important headlines. Can be a little of both in the LGBTQ news this week, but we're going to do it as a lightning round. Let's discuss them in our segment we called Saved by the Bell. But there's a twist. Are you familiar with the twist? Faye?
I remember the stupid
brace
twist.
yourself.
Brace yourself, Effie. Brace yourself, Effie. There's a twist here. We're only going to discuss each headline for 1 minute. And at the end of that minute, you are going to hear that bell to stop and move on.
Is that why you
Faye's
have me sitting
favorite
next to
sound.
you? That's why. That's the only reason why I sit next to you. Is just for that.
I'm enjoying it. It was the bell or double jock strap.
Oh,
So
boy.
It was one of
Take
the
your
two.
pick.
All right. Right. Okay, everybody understands our rules?
Got it.
All right,
Get it.
here we go. RuPaul's Drag Race. Well, it's becoming a global phenomenon. After Canada, Thailand, Holland, UK, Spain, Australia, it's time to take on the Pope. Saved by the Bell. Headline number 1, another drag race. This time it's truly La Dolce Vita. What do y'all think?
Next up, Drag Race North Miami. Yeah! You know, whatever they spit out, we're watching it. So let's be real about it, all right? It's entertainment. It's more of us out there. You know, I'll be watching. It's the truth.
Talk about an empire, a global empire here. Mama Ru is really racking those points.
Totally.
Drag Race
listen.
Colombia. Yeah. Drag Race 7-Eleven.
Hey, you know, everyone has to have a chance, right?
No, and not only that, when you create a brand, you know, and you're thinking about a business model, I'm not shaming, you know, I'm not shaming
How about
him
the
right
specific issue that they're going to do it under the Pope and the Vatican's nose?
now. You know,
Right.
listen.
Oh,
they
you know the
can't
Pope's
control it.
already watching.
Exactly.
now.
He's got his favorite queen.
Yeah, he's like, Sasha, what do you mean?
You know, it's funny to me because we reported at Queer News Tonight, 50% of all priests are gay.
I know.
They're gay.
Wow.
So there's probably at least going to be one priest that's
Who's
going to
be
be a
watching
contestant.
RuPaul?
He's on there.
Right.
Also, can we talk about what it's done to help improve the?
No, we can't. All right. Love him or hate him, a gay icon dies this week. 30 years of the world's largest LGBTQ plus circuit party, White Party Palm Springs, White Party Puerto Vallarta. The New Year's Eve event creates pandemic headlines across the world. Regardless, Saved by the Bell, headline number 2. The gay circuit party founder, Jeffrey Sanker, dies at 65.
I have to say it's a loss for our community, definitely. But cancer sucks. Let me also say that. And thirdly, did he know he already had cancer during the Puerto Vallarta party and not care? Like, I'm afraid to say those words, you know? No? Yeah?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, I would imagine that he did. So let me be the guy who says that. And, you know, that's what is toxic in our community, okay? When influential leaders in our community take that turn and make a choice, and, you know, that's the reality of mental health. It's the reality of what's real for us in the moment. Again, you know, I agree with you. You know, what a loss to our community, because, man,
White Party, man.
You know,
he also stirred up a lot of controversy too. He competed against AIDS fundraisers. You know, literally competed against them and didn't put any money back. I mean, you know, rest in peace, Jeffrey. You did do a lot for the community, but you know, there's things coming from both sides with that.
Yeah.
But rest in peace.
I'll take just 10 seconds to say Atlantis Cruises and my former RuPaul's Drag Race Drag Stars at Sea cruises likely would not have happened if Jeffrey Sanker didn't lay the groundwork for circuit events in the world. Okay, in our world of ever-growing acceptance, how is LGBTQ plus doing in satisfaction in our own workplaces? Even during June Pride Month embracement, the answer may surprise you. Saved by the Bell headline number 3. New survey shows that LGBTQ plus employees are less satisfied at work compared to their straight counterparts. What do y'all think?
Well, I made a conscious choice back in the early 90s to work for organizations where I could be completely out, and I've been in the nonprofit world, which is why I haven't gotten rich, but I think it's added to my quality of life, because I've never for 1 second in my jobs felt that I was being judged for who I was. I know not everybody has that option.
Most people don't have that luxury,
Right.
Cindy.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
I know.
I've got friends that work
for
for Apple, and they're super happy because they're allowed to donate to different organizations.
Yeah.
They're allowed to be themselves. They're okay with transitioning. They are fully invested in having your back.
Yeah, and to that point, although some organizations and corporations might say they're diverse and inclusive, their policies don't always reflect that. So I think then what you have are out openly gay employees, and their work environment doesn't quite support diversity, inclusion, and equity.
That's true.
One of the surprises in the survey, you know, among the best companies to work for in satisfaction from LGBTQ, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Have it your way, Al.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay, all right, it's going to come
All the
back
French
to
fries you
Daddy.
can eat.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, we asked, does representation matter? In a world where radical Republicans are making trans people the enemy, especially in sports, something very special happened this week. Saved by the Bell headline number 4. LGBTQ plus history is made as the first trans golfer wins a pro-U.S. tournament.
Yeah.
Wow, you go, girl.
I
And wasn't this
know.
in Florida?
In
Polk
Polk
County,
County.
which is not the
Polk
safest
County.
place for anybody in
Woo!
wow, that's a blow right there in itself.
Wow.
Goodness.
I will, you know, just give it a moment, and all the Republican legislators will come out and revolt this win, you know, and fight it and bring it to the media how she's clearly on steroids and whatever else, and that the male, you know, part of her is, you know, so let's just give it in a minute. You know, let her. Hats off to you. Enjoy your win, girl.
Yes.
But the reality is, you know, it's the state legislator, not the athletes, that have a problem.
Right.
You know, so they need to stay out of the business of sports and let the athletes compete against trans athletes, which they have been doing without a problem.
These anti-LGBTQ quote-unquote lawmakers, most of them are Republican. They're throwing red meat to their base because they have no other real issues to focus on.
They have no idea.
No idea.
There's no idea.
This is a non-issue.
You know, I have to get the plug in. Tony Lima, my friend at Ariana Center, is hosting as the moderator the first trans talk show ever done with all trans hosts. And they're talking about amazing, amazing things. And one of the things that I suspect that I'm going to learn, the privileged older white guy in LGBTQ, gay guy, is I'm going to realize how tough the trans community has it. I'm going to learn it. I know it, but I don't breathe it. And I suspect I'm going to learn it. All right, surveys are showing that LGBTQ plus travel is going to boom. We are getting vaccinated and our confidence is now booming because of it. Saved by the Bell headline number 5, the world is reopening and so are our LGBTQ plus cruises and resorts.
Yes, we love to travel. We love to shop. We are usually the first ones at anything, and then it's everybody else, right? In this case, it was the seniors, then it was us, and now it's everybody else. We're ready to travel. We're ready to get back on our cruises and have a ball.
Wait.
Yeah, listen, I'm already looking at my next location. My friend is going to spend the summer in Spain. You know, I'm looking to head down to Costa Rica. I'm ready to go to
Lady
Thailand.
Snack Daddy, live in Costa Rica.
Okay, yeah, you don't even know. And call me, you know, Lady Snack Daddy does want to become international. Okay, DJ.
Also, how do those guys keep abs during the pandemic? The gyms were closed.
Well, this is probably a pre-pandemic
We're not
job.
eating. We're not eating.
You can work out at home too.
Yeah, they're not wearing masks.
Vakaya and Atlantis and RSVP.
And Olivia.
Oh, thank you. I forgot. It's interesting to me that travel is going to roar back. I'm doing Stonewall Pride on Saturday the 19th, and then on the 22nd, I've been invited, and I'm going to Panama, and I'm going to Panama City, and I'm going to the Gamboa Jungle Lodge at the canal, and then to Costa Rica, and I'm doing the Arenal volcano in the Jungle Lodge. Very excited. I'm not a DJ, but it's the same kind of invite that Josie wants, so I'm going to put in a good word for you while I'm in.
Host Betty Marti Kring.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. What? Who?
What?
It's June Pride Month. We're really excited about it. And New York's Stonewall Pride celebration is our mothership. So let's look back at our history. Saved by the Bell, headline number 6. In 2016, LGBTQ plus history is made as trans activist Jazz Jennings is the youngest New York City Pride Grand Marshal in history. Remember 2016?
Wow.
Yes.
Can I tell you guys, it's been so beautiful to watch this little girl grow up. You know, we saw, she came out when she was 5. At 5 years old, she knew she was trans, okay?
Yeah,
that
she's
is just when
21 now.
you know, and she's 20 years old.
Now, you know Tucker Carlson just rolled over on his show. On
because
that
she was
sense.
5 when she came out.
Yeah.
Screw you, Tucker Carlson. How about that?
Right.
Make me want to go to the bathroom. Anyway, so it's, you know, and for her to be the youngest little girl there doing that pride to the fullest, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love how she said it was pure positive energy. And that's beautiful. I think that's what Pride is about.
Right.
I haven't met Jazz Jennings, but I understand she's a South Florida.
Oh, yeah. She's from
originally
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. She's great.
And she's always doing stuff for people around in her circle. I went
she's
to a
very
fundraiser
caring.
at Lips where they were raising money for a top surgery for one of her friends. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she uses her notoriety to help others.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I love this story in Saved by the Bell because it's a reminder, no matter we launch, this is our first show in June Pride Month, no matter how you celebrate, go and do something, whether it's big and grand. There's probably going to be 50,000 people on Walton Drive next week at the Stonewall Pride Parade, or you do something with a few of your friends. You know, the 6 of us get together for a Pride celebration and a clink of the glasses for a toast. Whatever it is, go out and do something to celebrate our community and all of the people in our community, and it'll make your June all the better.
I love you guys, no offense, but I'd rather go to Stonewall than hang out with all of you. Just make sure that we know that.
And get vaccinated. Get vaccinated.
Be safe and have fun.
All right. Well, history is made this week. Now, this is an unusual story. When opera star Lucia Lucas stars in a new opera called The Sound of Identity. Getting any clues what this is about? Wow. And it is being put on in all places, the Tulsa Opera House in Oklahoma. And she is not only the first trans opera singer now performing in America, there are 4. So Saved by the Bell, headline number 7, representation does matter. History is made as a trans opera singer takes to the lead role in a major national American opera. What do y'all think?
Listen, what we're seeing here, guys, is the reality of life and human, okay? The reality that trans people are human. And that this is a human experience, and that there isn't just one trans person in the world, is that there's millions of trans people in the world, and that they're supported, they're loved by their community, that they're not here alone. And this is the celebration. Her journey to get to where she is, to be able to perform opera, to study opera, that's already such a challenge for any of us, right? And then on top of that, add the trans conversation and experience to her life. Wow, you know, like
she's educating folks, you know, on the way. Like, how great is that? So she's also doing a documentary. She's a badass. So she's doing a documentary also, and she's being so transparent because she wants people to know what trans people go through. Her father has not seen her until before the transition, and she put that all out there in this documentary. I mean, she's a badass. Yeah, she really is.
Absolutely amazing story. Yeah. Congratulations. Well, finally tonight at It's Happening Out, we are the LGBTQ community. You haven't been able to tell in the last hour. So what does that mean? Well, it means sex and relationships. Let's play another game. Our game asks, who would you do? Cindy, I want to know that. And what would you do? Josie, I want to know that. To 3 different interesting people. And tonight our game is called, of course, Shag, Marry, Chop. We played it since episode 1 in September 3 years ago. And so here's how we're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop tonight. Next week, as I said, I host the Stonewall Pride Parade. In September, Miami Beach Pride will come. Now in November, Pride Fort Lauderdale will run on the historic A1A at the beach, which is now Gay 1A. Our festivals are famous here in South Florida for all of the hotties who visit. So our theme tonight is hottest headliners from South Florida Pride celebrations. So this week we're going to play with Estelle from Pride Fort Lauderdale, her appearance in 2018. Adam Lambert from Miami Beach Pride in 2013, and Todrick Hall, Wilton Manor's Stonewall Pride in 2019. So let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. Babe, let's start with you.
All right, so I'm gonna shag Todrick, okay? I just wanna have, you know, I wanna shag him and I want him to do some dance moves on me and look at me with those pretty ass eyes, all right? So I'm gonna marry Estelle because I gotta marry a girl, guys. I'm sorry, I intend to spend the rest of my life with a woman. So Estelle, it's all you and me, mama, all you and me. And I'm gonna have to chop Adam Lambert. He's gorgeous, talented, amazing, but I'm the pretty one in bed.
That was shady.
Well, your marriage is Estelle.
Perfect. Get out. Perfect. Get out. Wow, that was shady.
Wow.
All right, John Buckley, who would you shag?
All right, so I guess I would shag probably Adam Lambert because he'll give a performance.
Or he'll make you perform.
No, I think he got it right the first time.
I would chop Estelle Just because, although she was looking for an American boy, that's just not what I wanted. And I guess, you know what? I think I'm taking a soft side to Todrick because I met him when he did his concert here in Fort
Did you
Lauderdale.
see Straight Outta Oz? Did you see
Yes.
that video? It's one of the most amazing dance videos
Yeah.
ever made. Amazing, yeah. And Eddie, Marti, Kring, who are you going to tag?
Well, as a very out and proud gay man, I'm sorry, Estelle, we're going to start with the chop. That's just the way it has to go. I'm a gold star gay, so I don't want to break that streak. And then between these last two, so I think I'd have to shag Todrick and marry Adam. Only because Todrick is doing so great. His career is taking off. I really can't travel. I'm going through grad school.
You've taken this very seriously.
You
know, Adam's.
In our game, Shag, Marry, Chop, you have calculated how much time you can travel while you're going to grad school?
It's intense. It's an accelerated program.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm voting for you, dude, okay?
Right. And Cindy Brown, who are you going to? Oh, and by the way, Eddie, thank you for playing Shag, Marry, Chop in completely reversed orders of the way we do it.
Right. Time out.
Yes.
I'm here to spice it up.
Spice it up. All right.
Yeah.
Cindy, who are you going to play?
this is
And
always-
could you shag first for me, please?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, this is always tough for me, because.
I'm going to fill in the blank if you don't move faster.
Okay, Shag, I'll shag Estelle. Or maybe I should marry her.
You gotta pick Shag first. Who are we gonna shag?
I'm gonna.
Are you a Libra?
I'll shag Adam.
Okay.
I'll marry Estelle and Todrick.
You're gonna chop.
Sorry, even though I think that he'll probably make me laugh more. But. He's got to make me laugh before I chop him.
Congratulations to Cindy. Cindy Brown is the first person ever been on It's Happening Out in 3 years where we're going to be pushed into therapy for participation in Shag, Marry, Chop. And finally, last but definitely not least, Chef Josie. Who are you going to shag?
All right.
Now, knowing you so well, I'm fascinated about what's going to happen here because there is a little bit of everything here. I can't wait to hear.
Okay, my true colors are about to shine right now.
You're gonna.
All
Your
right.
freak flag is going to fly now.
So I'm shagging Adam because he's
knew it.
super successful and I've kind of partied with him already, so I know he's fun. He hangs with a fun group of people.
So you're gonna top Adam, okay?
Yeah, and we'll probably bring in Estelle, but I'm just saying, it's like a big group thing.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna marry Todrick because are you kidding me? That bitch works, okay?
Yeah.
So I want that in my life all the time.
Now
and
wait. History is getting ready to be formed here, and it's happening out because the lesbian is getting ready to chop the only girl. Explain that to us.
The only woman.
She's a woman.
I don't know what to say, So
Aqua Foundation's getting ready to pull your card.
yeah,
Right?
no, but listen, ladies, y'all know, okay? But in this game, we played a
And
game.
the list is on.
And Estelle, you call me, we'll hang, but we're playing a game today, and this is strategic, okay? Oh, by the way, I applied for the Circle, so Circle, call me, because now you see, I can, what is that called? The fish.
Plenty of fish.
Plenty of.
No. When you're a catfish, I can catfish, okay?
Now you know why I love Chef Josie. All right, that's our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. Before we end the show tonight, we want to introduce our sponsor, Jet's Pizza. If you're coming to South Florida, you have to try this pizza. It's the choice of the LGBT.
It's so good.
We're hungry.
The choice of the LGBTQ community
Yum.
here in South Florida, Jet's Pizza. It's Detroit style. We're getting ready to enjoy it at the end of the show. And
This is
yeah,
The only time I eat pepperoni.
yeah.
This is her way of taking that entire box home.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
She's claiming it.
It's
Yeah,
mine.
right?
I licked
claiming it.
If I licked it, it's mine.
I can't
It's
tell you
true.
how many times I've heard Faye say that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a lesbian thing,
Oh, we're not talking about pizza anymore.
Oh,
We're not talking about jets.
Y'all.
Jess doesn't allow me to talk about their pizza that way. All right. Well, that's it, America. Another week with you and the world's first and most popular LGBTQ talk show in the world. But before we sign off, let's hear from our host one final time. One good night. And let's have a good night from FayWHAT?
FayWHAT? So guys, make sure that you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? It's on YouTube, it's FayWHAT, and catch me on all social media outlets as well. Catch me right here on Monday and Wednesdays with Al Ferguson as we give you all the queer news, and also it's happening out on Wednesday evenings. Also, it's happening.travel. I mean, we've got it all right here. One-stop shopping for all your TV needs, baby.
All your TV needs.
It's incredible to be at a table kicking off Pride Month with just inspirational people. So you guys mean everything to me. We've got all colors, shapes, sizes, and it's just a beautiful thing that we do this every Wednesday. So I'm just so blessed and humbled to be a part of it. Thank you.
Very nice. And a good night from John Buckley.
Thank you. It's Pride Month. So most of all, be resilient. Don't just celebrate your pride and celebrate who you are throughout June. Make sure you take your time out to do that every single day. Never regret, live in the moment, and be yourself.
Love that. And a good night from Eddie, Marti, double jockstrapped.
Oh, wow. New nickname. So listen, y'all, it is Pride Month, and I just want to further echo the sentiments shared tonight. For those of you that are listening from all over the world where your communities may not be as affirming, know that you have a family here that loves you, and I know you may be watching from a place where it's very regressive, but you're not alone. Stay resilient, as it was shared, and find ways to move the movement along, the forward. So get involved with political movements and speak out, because that's how we're going to get our rights globally.
Don't forget, SAVE is one of the most important advocacy organizations that we have in this country, and you need to support them. And a good night from Cindy Brown.
Well, it is Pride Month, and during this Pride Month, the month of June, is the Give Out Day campaign, where LGBT organizations across the country are fundraising for the work that they do. So I encourage you to look in your local community for an organization that you can support. And if you just can't find anyone, you're welcome to donate to my organization, Jewish Community Services of South Florida. Just search for Lambda and pick the box that says Jewish Community Services. But it's more important than ever to support our organization. So whether you donate to Jewish Community Services or another organization, please reach into your pocket and support the work of the LGBTQ plus organizations around the country.
So well said. And a good night from my friend, Chef Josie.
All right, guys, you know we're going to close it down with a little bit of some self-loathing here and remind you to follow me on all social media outlets at Chef Josie. I want you to follow me because I don't just talk about the fun things to do in life. I talk about how to move ourselves forward and grow as human beings, how we can choose kindness every day, how we can challenge ourselves to be the best versions of ourselves, how we can live in the possibility of having it all. Now that's what I'm talking about. So come follow me at Chef Josie on all social media, and also check out the calendar because my alter ego is spinning around town and Lady Snack Daddy is throwing it down. So thanks for joining us this Wednesday, and I can't wait to see you next week.
I can't wait to report at Queer News Tonight. One night we'll have to, when Faye is here, Faye will do the story at Queer News Tonight about Chef Josie performing at the uber masculine leather bar.
Yes, I want pictures.
That's really great. Well, look, South Florida and America, is what you watched tonight important to you? You sat right here at the LGBTQ kitchen table, right along with us. Is this important? I would suggest to you, I hope you're paying attention, because we're talking about things in a way that you can't see anywhere else in the world. We are talking about the LGBTQ community. We're not just fangirling or fanboying over the LGBTQ community. We talk about the hard things and the good things and the funny things and the important things. Everything from Dr. Fauci and 40 anniversary years on AIDS to the silly craziness that we watch that is going on around us, to the connection of the launch of June Pride Month. Do you remember what you were doing on June 2nd, 2020? For just a second, I remind you what you were doing on June 2nd, 2020. Did it cross your mind? Could this possibly be the end as we were all locked in our houses? So take that moment and celebrate every single hour of every single awakening for the rest of this month to celebrate who you are, who we are, and our LGBTQ community. We are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and it's live, unedited. You watched every single word and nuance, including the double jock straps. Don't forget, Queer News Tonight is daily at 8 p.m. and Hotspots Magazine every week, and WMEG WeMeg events, including the Stonewall Pride and Street Festival June 19th. We're all united as one major LGBTQ media provider to improve our community. And remember, we are doing it because if it's important to you, it's happening out. We'll see you next week. Good night, South Florida and America.
See ya.